thank you so much for contacting me. I'm really excited. This is my first podcast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I'm honored now then.
So thanks for the opportunity.
No, thank you for taking the time.
We do so many Zoom calls now, so I'm getting a little better at this stuff, I think.
It became so much easier for me because I was doing podcasts in person and it was such a pain scheduling and getting people to go to the studio to actually film it and everything. So now I can do so many podcasts so quick. So I don't know.
Yeah, maximizing the time for sure.
Exactly.
But I always think there's something with face-to-face. It's a different experience,
Yeah,
and I would prefer that over anything else.
Of course. Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel the same way. Yeah.
Good. So congratulations on your success. I went through your podcasts and you're doing great.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get moments where I get really motivated and I do a bunch, and then I get distracted with business, with whatever I'm working on, and forget about it. So, but I really enjoy talking to different people and seeing what they have to tell me and really listening to their experiences.
Yeah, sure. Everyone has one, right?
Yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
has a story. Yeah. Yeah,
Why don't we
awesome.
start with yours?
Yeah, so I'm not sure where to start, but I can give you a little bit of a background on myself.
Sure.
So I'm originally from old Czechoslovakia, which is now Slovakia, small town. And growing up there, I had the best childhood, even though we didn't have a lot. We were always outside and getting into trouble, and it was just fun. And, one day we decided that we were going to, because it was still communism, which was totally fine. I mean, I was a kid and, I had a great childhood. So I can't really say that it was bad for us as kids, but obviously now I know that it wasn't the best place to live. Just the opportunities were not there. And my dad one day just told us, pack your stuff and we're going to Canada. So we basically, I think we had 4 or 5 bags that we took from everything that we've owned. And we just came here and, little money, your typical immigrant story. And we had to adjust very quickly because we didn't have a choice. So we were kind of thrown in a world where it was new, unknown. It was scary, but at the same time, it was exciting. So, we had to start somewhere. And because we didn't have a lot of money, we didn't speak the language, we didn't have any friends, we had to learn very quickly to adapt.
Did you, how old were you when you arrived in Canada?
I was in my late teens. Okay. So, leaving your friends behind and kind of, settling into who you are. And so it was very difficult. The first couple of years were very, very difficult. I think I must have cried every day, all day for a long time. And I was homesick, but, there was no turning back. Right. So now I look back at the experience and it was all worth it. I mean, we worked on the farm. I got thrown into school a couple of days later after I came here with not speaking a word of English. So I had to learn the language, and English is not the easiest to learn. No. And, make friends and adjust. And it was a culture shock as well. Coming from a small village, a small town into grand, gigantic city where everything is at your disposal. It was really exciting, but it was definitely nerve-wracking as well. And then seeing my parents, leave their careers and their families, their everything. And they basically came at my age. I'm 41 and, I'm like, wow, you just left.
Mm-hmm. You put yourself in their shoes. Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for my parents. They're definitely my inspiration and just pushing us to be better and growing and not looking back. So they're definitely someone I admire and I'm grateful for. And till this day, I always say, remember when we came here, we had nothing and I wore one outfit, forever. But we were always fed, we were always clean, and we really worked hard. I mean, I went to school and then coming home, working on the farm for $4 an hour, saving everything. So that gave me the inspiration and, helping my parents. they couldn't go to school. They had to take care of us. So I kind of took it all myself. I said, I'm going to save everything I have and help my family and help myself. So that's kind of the beginning of how we came here. And after that, I did different jobs. I saved up to go to school. And I studied cosmetology because I went to art school in Slovakia. So I'm super creative. And I love being creative is something that I've always done. And I don't like authority. So I never, I was always rebelling as a kid. I didn't want to listen to anybody. So I got into swimming. I was in competitive swimming for a long time, which taught me structure, endurance, perseverance, and I guess just bettering myself all the time and pushing myself, getting up early and doing what was expected and more, because I always liked winning and I liked the feeling of success. So I ended up going into cosmetology because I could relate my art, design, creativity into it, working with people. And then I realized that I wasn't making a lot of money, even though I loved it. And I didn't want to be poor. We didn't come here to be poor. So that was my drive, is that I need to excel and I need to get better. And then I saved everything I had. We lived a very, very humble life. And I ended up buying my first property at 24. And I bought it for $199,000, a small townhouse. And I didn't know anything about the real estate market. I asked one of my friends to sell it for me. I think I was there about a year and a half. And I just didn't like the experience that he gave me as a realtor. And I looked at it and I said, you know what, I also took some design and psychology and philosophy in school. And I think it's all related in real estate with being creative, design, uh, obviously human behavior is huge, and empathy, putting yourself in the other person's shoes, which I can thank my grandma for, because that's instilled in me as a kid. So all those different characteristics and values play a big part in, I think, a good agent, and obviously a good person, I guess. And I looked at the experience I had with my friend, the realtor, and I was not happy. He undervalued my home just to do a quick sale, and the experience was horrible. So I took that money. I made very little on that house, and then I moved out of that city, out of Ancaster, and I moved to Oakville. And I bought my second house. It needed work. And again, that creativity came in. How can I make money? So I ended up buying older properties and renovating them, and, just making a little bit of money here and there. And it adds up. That's what kind of got me ahead. So then I really liked the process, and I did a great job. So I decided that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a makeup artist anymore. And that design played a big part as well in my career. So I started selling my own houses, and I loved it. And that's why I became an agent, and doing a better job, and just catering to people, because it's a big process. And if you have a good agent on your side, they definitely make it simpler, easier. That trust factor is there, because you need to have trust when you're trusting someone with your biggest asset, pretty much. So I didn't want to be like that guy. And I had the qualities to help people and make the experience great for them. So
When you
that's
were
how I got
beginning,
into
what do you
it.
think your biggest challenges were when you started, when you first got your license to sell real estate, and or the first biggest punches that you received and you're like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't as easy as I thought at the
It's
beginning?
not easy.
No.
It is absolutely not easy. And I thought it was, because it looks grand and glamorous.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else that's not in real estate, they want to become a real estate agent. There's, I think, over 80,000 real estate agents in the GTA, and the first 2 years, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but people drop out after the first 2 years because they realize it's really hard. Just like anything, I mean, building relationship takes time. It takes trust. So, you know, I didn't know a lot of people because I was new to the country. So it took me some time to build those relationships, for people to trust me and prove myself to people. Obviously, I educate myself till this day. I mean, it doesn't stop. So you have to provide value and credibility to people. So I think that was the biggest thing, is that people need to get to know who you are, what you're about, and can you actually do it. So but there's a lot of different challenges, you know, and I mean, I could go on, but it's being strategic, and knowing your business, really knowing your business, knowing what people want, how to handle different personalities, different cultures. So all that stuff, it's not just selling a house. It's not knowing, you know, how to build a house. It's how do you interact with people? How do you give them what they need, what they want? But sometimes what they want is not what they really want. So you have to be the one to find the solution. You
Have
know,
to
I
play psychologist a little.
totally, and it's great. I love that. And the human behavior and building the relationships and really connecting with your clients. I would say, you know, most of my clients, majority of my clients became my friends. I still talk to them. It's because you build that relationship. It's not just, hi, I'm your agent, sell the house, on to the next. I don't like that. You know, I don't like to work like that. It was done to me. It's a very uncomfortable situation, and it works for me. You know, everyone's different, and I can't be everything to everyone. So I work with people that respect me back, and we have a relationship. You need to have that click, that connection.
How did it lead from you becoming your own agent to now being like Misik Group?
Oh, I have no idea.
It just happened naturally. You're like, okay, now's the step.
You know what? I The biggest thing is that when you're in with a group, a team, even in a relationship, I think you're a better person because people tell you how they see you, right? You can only see yourself a certain way. Having different perspectives, you know, you're doing, I don't like the way you do this, or I don't like the way you're talking, or I love this, or I love that. It just makes you a better person. And the women that I work with are brilliant. And, you know, I think I have a very creative mind, but having the women on the group masterminding together, we're definitely stronger. So it was something I was seeking, I guess. And it just came to me, you know?
I love that you said you like psychology, and you're saying it right now because psychology 101 tells you need a group of people around you to really edit and work on your behaviors, because you never really know if you're doing something bad that's rude or insensitive if you're not bouncing it off people and you don't see their face. It's like, maybe what.
Feedback. Yeah.
Exactly.
Constructive criticism. I love it. I really, really love that. Is, you know, everyone I think takes things personally sometimes, but the good thing is, even from clients, I hear feedback and I don't lash back and say, oh, that person's wrong, or, you know, I think I'm better than, or whatever. You know, I just look at it and, okay, what can I do better? How can I be better? Or a deal that falls apart, what did I do wrong? Let me dissect it. So that's what it is. Growth and progression is extremely important to me.
How do you think people, because I think that's the default, lashing out at somebody, because it's very easy. Not, they're wrong, I don't have to work on myself. Like they
Totally.
have the wrong idea. What do you think? Is it just your background, your what you lived through? How can people, what's the advice to people to have that unlocked in their brain and start taking it as feedback, something to grow instead of as an
I
attack?
think it takes time
Just time.
to go through life, and I think it's just being aware of what you're doing, your actions, your words. I was not always like that because I thought I was always right. You know, as a teenager or a young person, you're invincible and you're always right. You know, parents are not right, nobody else is. So I had to, over time, I mean, I was lucky enough that I opened my horizons and my perspective. I started meditating and I started reading a lot about self-development. I read some amazing books that changed my life. And I've gone through experiences that made me realize, you know what, I don't want to be like that. I don't like the results that I'm getting. What can I do to see different results? And it's really all about experimenting. Your whole life is an experiment. If you really want to tap into that, then just look at what your results are. If I do A, I'm going to get B. If I do B, I'm going to get C. So I tested. I really played a lot of tests on myself, and I dissected my thoughts, my actions, and everything. So it didn't happen overnight. It was probably around a 5-6 year process.
I see.
Yeah.
Can we
And
give
I'm still a work in progress, I'm still working on myself. It doesn't stop. So it's really actually beautiful how your life can change when you analyze yourself.
I think that for myself, that was if I look at my life as a experience or trajectory, my favorite part was when I started enjoying noticing that I was wrong. And at the beginning, when you're young, it's very scary, right? Because your whole foundation of who you are could be all lies and just misinformation. You don't know. But then talking to friends that are smarter than me and be like, wow, that's not true at all, what I thought. And I started enjoying that process of me being wrong and then rebuilding my process of my system of processing information and everything. And just when you start enjoying that, I don't think you can ever really fail or fall down, because everything's learning, right? Everything's readjusting. And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's that too, and it's working hard towards your goals too. With I don't even own a TV because I can't populate my mind with negative stuff. I mean, I know what's going on in the world, but I don't pay attention to it. I don't want to see it every day. So it's definitely a choice about focus. What do you want to focus on? How do you see your life, and writing your goals out and having a vision for your life. Sometimes you don't meet the vision. So, don't be so hard on yourself if you don't reach your goals, but you can alter them. They change, you change over time. So but having a vision and really knowing who you are and what you want, what makes you feel good, what doesn't make you feel good. Those are the things that are really important, and going back to real estate, I attract people that I love working with. They love working with me, and it took a while to get into the groove of that, because you go through obstacles, you go through bad clients or clients that you don't click with, and again, adjusting yourself and seeing, okay, what did I do wrong? And sometimes it's not a good connection, so you move on, and that focus has to be there. Who are you? What do you want? Where do you see yourself? How do you want to live? What kind of world do you want to live in? So those are all the things that I had to take into my perspective and say, okay, what do I really want? And it took a while. I mean, I wrote stuff out. I wrote and wrote and wrote, and I dissected myself, and because I didn't know what I wanted when I was younger. And I think a lot of people don't, what do I want to be? What type of person do I want to be? But the values were there. The core values were definitely there, like empathy and structure in my life and focus and all, just perseverance. Those things were instilled in me as a child. And I hated getting up at 5 a.m. going swimming or going to art school after regular school. But now I look back, I'm like, that was actually connecting the dots, and looking back is actually, that was meant to happen to get me to where I am today.
why don't we pull it back to real estate? Because I think we can get some good information from you, like what is going on right now in real estate. Because from the outsider perspective, it's just crazy what's going on. So maybe if I'm a
It's
seller,
crazy.
let's say if I'm a seller, I
Mhm.
have a house I want to sell. What do you have advice that you could tell me if I'm trying to sell my home in the GTA?
So depending on the area that you're in, okay, so every area is different. Now the market has shifted, and through COVID, when COVID started, we saw a shift in the market probably every month, something different. The market was acting completely differently. So you definitely would need someone that's an expert in the area that you live in. That's number one. Someone that knows the market, understands the market, is active in the market. And going over what's going on, educating your client. That's number one, is sitting down with that client, asking them about their goals. Why are they selling, where are they going, what their goals are, what their needs are, and building that relationship and really understanding where they're coming from and what they want to do. Why do they want to sell?
And I guess the advice would be the same thing for buyers or sellers, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, everyone's different, and you definitely talk differently to everyone. But the main thing is getting to know your client and their needs. That's number one. And talking about, obviously, being competent and knowing what's going on in their marketplace. That's the major thing.
Okay. And do you see any areas of opportunity for the investors or the people that are more commercialized in the moment right now?
As an investor, there are a lot of great areas to tap into. So I work with few investors. Recently, I'm going to talk about my recent transactions. So there's areas that I didn't know, and I'm not an expert in, let's say, Kitchener-Waterloo, Barrie, Clarington, Oshawa. I'm not an expert in those areas. So I contacted some of my friends that are agents in those areas. I got advice from them. I did my own research, and it made sense to invest in those areas as an investor, either detached, townhouse, condo. We went over all the numbers with my clients. What does it look like, a return on investment? Where's the market headed? Looking at the history of the market, what it's done. You can't predict what the market's going to do, but you can definitely look at different things that kind of play into the market, and can you time it perfectly? Possibly, but not 100%. So it definitely takes some research work, working with the client, again, seeing what they want, what their needs are, and then explaining all the numbers to them. So as an investor, you're really looking at the numbers, right? And if you're purchasing a home for yourself as a primary residence, some people want to see the numbers. What does it look like in 5 years when we're ready to downsize or upsize? But again, that location plays a big part in that aspect. The schools, if they really love the house, they got to be comfortable in the area and in the community, in the house itself.
To wrap up, to get on perfect with that 30 minutes, because I know you guys are busy. Any final thoughts about your group, where it's going, and anything you'd like to add? Anything?
Well, the group is amazing. I'm really fortunate. I met amazing women. I learn so much from them every day. They inspire me. They bring brilliant ideas into the group. We push each other. We really are a good clique. We're a good match to each other. That's number one. We work very well together. We're friends, and we're doing different things. We love the creative part. We're stepping outside of our box, and just we had to really shift because of COVID. We can't do open houses. We can't really door knock and see people in person. So we had to shift and adapt to the situation. And I think that's the most important thing, is sitting down, assessing where you are right now and what's my next best step. So we figured out the social media aspect. It's really working for us. And then just being online, the online presence is super important, especially now because we can't really see people in person to person. So we've done a good job with that. And we're doing some really cool things. So I'm excited about it. We're getting involved with the community and helping people. And it's very important. Relationship-based career that's what it is. It's really important to us to build those relationships and maintain those relationships.
Perfect. Well, thank you for taking the time, and
Thanks
we'll
for
stay
having
in
me.
contact.
Thank you so much. Take care. All the very best. Stay safe.
All right. Goodbye, Zuzana.
Take care. Bye.